Hey everybody, how is everybody? Gee, the camera's close today. No, that's all right, darling, so fine. Thank you. Beautiful husband who helps me with this every day. How are you all going? Hope everybody is really, really well. I'm pretty good. I just did my 20 minutes of chanting that we do every Monday to Friday. We had I think we had nearly 70 people on there today, which is, you know, quite a lot. And some people have been doing it for the whole time. And today we marked 100 days. And it's amazing. And so today I was feeling a little bit stretched earlier on today. And so what I did is I put my obsidian in one hand and this beautiful quartz, which I actually don't even know what sort of quartz it is. Can anybody? It looks like rose quartz on the camera, but it's actually not rose quartz. It's something else. It might be. I actually don't know what it is. Someone gave it to me, and I just chanted away with one in each hand. It was so nice. And Val just said it was very powerful. Yeah, it was powerful. I mean, I feel like we are really connecting with the goddess Kali. So there you go. So, can I just say, Catherine Wilson says, not sleeping and cat is acting crazy. That's very funny. So, I'm just looking for my cards because I'm going to do a card today as well, like always. Oh, here they are. So, oh, Liz says, thank you. The July meditation in the portal is beautiful. I'm so happy that's in the members portal. If you missed out on the 50% off, I'm sorry, but I gave you so much notice. I've had lots of people. I'm going to speak to my team, but I've had lots of people writing to say, I missed out on the 50% off. It's like, well, we did it for 4 months. We might do one more time. We might do it. I might actually offer it for the very last time for the people who missed out, who are upset. In the masterclass, at the end of the masterclass, which is on this weekend. So let's talk about the insane astrology that's going on right now and why it's all so intense. Oh, Val, that's great news. I'm so happy for you. Can I just give you a little tip that you didn't ask for? Someone said to me, never say my blah, blah, blah. Say the blah, 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 so you don't own it. So we have had, well, for one thing, we had Venus retrograde. Now we've got Mercury is still retrograde. We've just had the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, which is so powerful. And today, as we move towards the eclipse on the weekend, which is going to be a full moon eclipse, so massive, we have got the planet Saturn moving back into the sign of Capricorn. Now, before you think, oh, well, that doesn't apply to me, I'm not Capricorn. Yeah, it applies to everybody. We all have Capricorn in our chart somewhere, as I'm always saying. And one thing I'll be going into in the masterclass on Sunday is that is where that is for you. In fact, I might even get something written up, maybe a PDF to download or something if I get there on time, if I manage to do it. It's so basically Capricorn is in everybody's chart. It just depends on your rising sign. It'll be in your chart somewhere, one of the 12 houses. And wherever you have Capricorn in your chart, even if you don't have any planets in there, it doesn't matter. You still have Capricorn in your chart somewhere. It's where you've had all your lessons, okay, for the past 2 years or so. Or longer in some ways. Because basically what happened is that, I don't know how long ago now, I'm sorry, I don't know the number off the top of my head. Is it was it 2012? Pluto moved into Capricorn. Pluto takes eons to go around the chart, so Pluto stays in each sign for a very, very long time. Pluto moved in there, which is when was it a bit earlier? Basically, it was all tied in with the explosions that happened in the recession. I'm thinking, was the recession in 2008? So maybe it was something around that. I don't know. Sorry, I don't have all the dates in front of me. I'm not very good at dates. But it was quite a few years ago. It was like, so embarrassing, I can't remember. I'm so sorry. But are any astrologers out there who can tell me Pluto came into Capricorn in 2008? Thank you, Katrina. Which makes sense because that's when we had the Lehman Brothers crash, okay? And Pluto moving into Capricorn was basically the explosion of business, because Capricorn is the sign associated with business. And so when the Lehman Brothers crash happened and then we had a worldwide recession in 2008, thank you very much, that was the start of a period. Now, you might think, oh, that's really bad. Capricorn's really bad. But it's not, because Capricorn is actually very much a planet that trims away the unnecessary fat. Okay, so what happened to some businesses was that they just exploded and it all went wrong. But for other businesses, it was like a time to kind of get rid of the expenses that were unnecessary and that they couldn't afford, for example. And Capricorn actually is also very much about ethics, okay? And Pluto has this kind of, detoxify or die feeling about it. So Pluto moving into Capricorn very much had a feeling of anything inauthentic will not survive, to quote my lovely friend Rebecca Campbell, who wrote Light is the New Black and The Rise Sister Rise. She wrote that in there. She's not an astrologer, and she just felt it intuitively, and it's perfect for what's going on now. Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, anything inauthentic will not survive, and that's why whatever you're doing in your life right now, be authentic, or you're going to get the bitten on the bum, so to speak. So we've had Pluto in Capricorn since 2008, which is now 12 years. Then we had Saturn moving in there a couple of years ago, I think 2017. I know that because I wrote about it yesterday. I don't have a head for dates, I'm sorry, I just don't. But I know it was 2017. And that's what ephemerides are for. So Saturn is actually the sign associated with Capricorn. So again, it was like another onto business. Like, it's tough, but if you work hard and you are authentic and you're doing good things and you know what you're doing is contributing to the world, especially if you're teaching or sharing, it's not been easy, but in some ways it can be the making of some people, because Saturn is all about you doing what you said you were going to do. It's like it waggles its finger. It's like the headmaster or the headmistress of the zodiac. Using the goddess paradigm, Saturn is the crone. You get the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And so Saturn is also the planet that teaches us lessons. Okay, so you've probably heard of the Saturn return. I'll just explain really quickly what it is, because I know I've said it before, but for anyone who doesn't know what the Saturn return is, when you were born, Saturn was somewhere, okay? Now, the moment that you were born, of course, Saturn didn't stop moving. Saturn is revolving around the sun like all the other planets in our solar system. So Saturn kept moving and moving and moving and moving, and 29 years later, it came back to exactly the point in your chart where it was when you were born, which is why we call it the Saturn return, okay? Now, what does Saturn do? Saturn tests us. It challenges us. Saturn's job, in a way, is to be wise and to bring us wisdom and to test us, but to make us stronger, or to challenge us, but to show us what we're made of, okay? So when you've had your Saturn return and Saturn's been all the way around your chart, then you've been tested by Saturn in every single part of your life, Okay, so it's a planet that gets a really mixed reputation, and it does cause dramas, but it's ways of like when you need that lesson, Saturn will deliver the lesson. Okay, so now as of a few months ago, Saturn moved out of Capricorn where it had been since 2017, and it went into Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius, which we all also have in our chart somewhere. So the pressure which we'd had for a very long time came off, plus Jupiter has moved into Capricorn in the meantime as well. But today, Saturn is moving back into Capricorn because it's retrograding. It's retrograding back into Capricorn for a couple of months towards the end of the year. So we are getting that last chance to learn whatever lessons it is that we need to learn. So if you know where Saturn is in your chart by transit, that's what you need to focus on, you know? And it can be a time for you to really become like an expert or a boss in that part of your chart. It can be a time where you really, you know, you show you've learned your lessons and you know what you're doing and you step up, and, you know, it can work really well for you, but you have to learn your lessons and you have to be authentic. I'll stop pounding the cards soon. So, yeah, that's it really. I will go into this in the masterclass on the weekend, so everybody knows, because we will be talking about where Capricorn is in your chart, because we are talking about the full moon eclipse in Capricorn. And if you came to the new moon masterclass 2 weeks ago, you should have got your invitation to the full moon one this Sunday. And if you didn't come to it and you want to join, it's free when you buy a copy of my Moonology 2021 diary, and there is a link above. It's moonmessages.com/July eclipse. So there we go. Saturn is changing signs today, moving back into Capricorn. All right. We need Saturn back in the collective to restore order. Stella, you might be right. I have to agree with that. All right. Okay. We're going to do a card. Who wants a card? So Magella, while I'm shuffling, would like to know, what is it? Is it how to find out your rising sign, or what if you don't know your rising sign? I'll answer both those questions. So first of all, if you don't know your rising sign, you can find it out any old place on the internet where they do their charts. I have a place where you can find it out for free. It's moonmessages.com/free chart. One word. moonmessages.com/free chart. You can find out. It's on the third page. It's marked as rising sign, aka ascendant, or something like that. If you don't know what time you were born, then use 6 a.m. Well, if you don't know what time you were born, ask your mum or ask your dad or ask your grandma. Ring up the hospital. They sometimes know. Look at your birth certificate. It's often on there. If you're really keen, you can go and see what's called a rectification astrologer. And I believe the best in the business is a woman in America called Lee Lehman, Lehman, Lee, so Lehman. She's got a .com. I believe she's the best in the world at rectification, so I'm told. I'm not. That's what I heard quite a few years ago now. There might be other people who've come up since then. And Gemma says, I wrote to my hospital and managed to get it. There you go. And also you can go to a kinesiologist. You know, they do muscle testing and they will help you to find out what time you were born. I was really lucky. My mum always told me what time I was born. She had my time of birth written onto this little tile with a picture of a stork as well. And then about 10 years ago, after my lovely grandma Rose passed away and we were sorting out all her stuff, we found her diary. She kept a journal, and she had also written the date, the time as well. So there you go. I hope that answers your question, Magella. Just use 6 a.m. if you go through all those methods, or you don't want to go through all these methods, you can just use 6 a.m. arbitrary, but you'll still then, when it comes to doing things like new moons around your chart and working on yourself, as long as you're consistent every month and you do the 12 months, it'll be fine. The main thing is intention. I mean, obviously it's more powerful if you know your time of birth, but still. Suzanne says she found hers with kinesiology. Patricia did muscle testing and the birth chart was right. Excellent. Amazing. There you go. And the second, yes, the first Saturn returns at 29 and the second one is at 58. So, yeah, Rachel's, all the records deleted, you know, rectification or muscle testing. Because on some level, we know what time it was born. We know what time we were born, weirdly enough. So yeah, come to the masterclass if you want to know more. I am so excited about it. I'm trying to whittle down all the things I'm promising because otherwise I will go for 5 hours. We're supposed to go for an hour and a half. At the new moon event, we went for an hour and a half and I didn't even get to do the planner. So I'm going to try and get a bit more disciplined, which is very Saturn. All right, who's ready for their card? Here's the card. I actually think people are saying they want a work card. That's Saturn. I think this card should be what we need to know as we move. Oh, couldn't be more appropriate. As we move through this last of the Saturn in Capricorn cycle. Saturn is not going to be in Capricorn for another 30 years after this. This is the last hurrah, okay? Succinct, says Karen. Yes, I need to be more succinct. I've got Venus and Mars in Gemini. It's very hard. All right, are you ready? It's actually the new moon in Scorpio card, but it's so Saturnian. Saturn is about, amongst other things, fear, okay? Because one of the things that Saturn teaches us is to work through our fears. It actually makes us scared, but in doing that, it challenges us to work through our fears. And guess what the card is? Work through your fears. So whatever it is that you're scared of, use the coming few months and the full moon eclipse in Capricorn this weekend to work through your fears. There you go. Can't say better than that for the day Saturn moves back into Capricorn. So I am sending you tons and tons of love and I will see you tomorrow. Sign up for the masterclass if you want to come. Love to see you there.